Okay, guys, we are about to talk about the difference between bullishness and bearishness for beginners. How to spot this out, not only within your certain stocks, but also within the market conditions as well. Being able to understand and identify what bullishness and bearishness is on your specific goals and roles and chart trading time frames will help you to know when to buy in, when to sell off, how long to hold, and if you just shouldn't be going for things in general. Because as you know, if you are a long trader, you probably don't want to be going long on things if things are going to be going short and are going bearish anyways. So we can start off on our homepage where you'll be able to see in the last trading day, the days are turning more bearish with over 4,000 decliners. That's a lot of bearishness to be coming in to the markets, okay? And you got about 2,000 advancers. You can notice your market trend lines up here, the quick spark chart, and you'll be able to see how they fight the bullishness back up. Try to come in more bullishness, and then you got your different indices as well. We'll talk more about the different indices in the next lesson right after this. So get subscribed and don't miss out on that. Okay, so we go into our S&P 500s. You'll be able to see how the markets come in for rounds of bullishness and rounds of bearishness. Some rounds of bullishness and some rounds of bearishness. They go back and forth, usually day by day. One thing to understand right now, if you are a newer trader just now diving into the markets, we are watching a different time unfold into the markets. Where previously you would easily have the markets that would go from overbought to oversold. There'll be a couple of days of bullishness, followed by about, maybe the next whole week almost bearish, followed by the next week being bullish, and so on and so forth, back and forth. And they will still be making newer highs, climbing up more and more. But here, most recently, we've been watching a new time unfold in the markets where markets just stay more bullish. This is coming down to further reasons, fundamental reasons, and economical reasons, and political reasons, all kinds of reasons right now for the markets to be getting up more bullish overall. So, amidst the bullishness, you get choppy trends and choppy days of bearishness. You can follow along with the trends of what the market is going to be going into by keeping up with the news. Keeping up with the news is the easiest way to know if the markets will be continuing to go more bullish or more bearish for the next days or next weeks and so on and so forth. You'll be seeing things about the Powells. You'll be seeing things about what those different industries are doing, like, for example, stunning rally being in tech, driving the NASDAQ to these highs. You'll be able to see if there are upcoming launches of things, for example, the robo-taxi programs and whatnot. You'll be able to see things about the presidents and the wars and so on and so forth, and what's going on with different, CPI reports and inflation reports and rate cuts and so on and so forth. And those different things all calculate in together to determine if things going to be getting overall more bullish. And again, if you are new here, bullish means go up, or more bearish. And again, if you are new here, bearish means go down. We got about 4,000 decliners making the markets in yesterday's trading session, making the markets go down for yesterday's trading session. Now that we see that, now we understand the difference between what bullishness and bearishness is and how to identify if that will continue to come in, which is a hard thing to do. I'll tell you now, it is a hard thing to do to know if things are going to stay going bullish or bearish if you get out of the cycle of your studies and focus for even more than a day, because of one day everything changes. So me myself personally, I keep up with the different news alerts and updates and whatnot that I have going on in my Banking with Willie Discord. I recommend you follow along with these too, and being up to date with everything keeps you on point with everything. You can be missing one piece of information, or one piece of news. There could be one missing piece to one missing piece to your puzzle that will throw everything off. Now, understanding that comes down to understanding your puzzle on your specific trading time frame for your specific goal and role. And one quick thing as well, two quick things. For one, look, just because I'm still holding in the stock, or just because I'm selling out of a stock, does not at all mean that you have to. I look for the safe, easy, early seat. I'm probably the first one in there, most likely finna be the first one out of there. I don't like to give them a chance to take that back. And I'm sitting here just staring at the charts nonstop. So the second that they do get ready to take that back, I'm probably already locking in gains. That's probably well past our 15% target. Again, you do not have to still hold in just because I am. If you hitting your 15% up there on, for example, here, what's this? SMX. Maybe you got in for the risky day trade like I did, and you already up we up 15%, whatever. You can lock in your gains there and just move to the next thing. And I greatly recommend you do, because just because I'm still holding in there does not necessarily mean that thing is still going up. The only thing that is guaranteed is that 7 to 15%. Now, if you would like to still hold on, I recommend you this. always have your 7 to 15% stop loss. If you up so many percent, let's say for example you up 50%. Now that thing done pull back 40, 35, lock that gain in. That's how I do it. I'm not really looking to lock in gains on when it's running up. I'm really locking it in when it pulls back. So it don't matter how high that stock is, and no matter what else happens. Because as soon as it pulls back that 15% or whatever, maybe you can stretch it a little before, then you lock that in. But once again, remember to lock in gains when you get nervous. Not when I get nervous, because I do this and I've been doing this for a long time and I already know what I'm going for. Remember to handle your business and whatnot. And if you don't know how to, what you should, how to coordinate yourself and set your goals, another video I'm gonna make today is how to coordinate yourself and set your goals. So don't miss out on that. Now that you understand all of that, okay, now it comes down to identifying bullish and or bearish trends for your specific chart trading time frame. Now it'd be a little bit harder to explain this exactly because I understand every single stock be inside of a different industry and whatnot. That industry, like I was just showing you down below, you got your different sectors and whatnot. Those industries move a little bit different. So although you might have the overall markets coming in for that bullishness or whatnot, then you might still have that industry that's coming in for the more bearish. That may throw off your plays, your stocks, your investments, whatever you want to call it. Understand those market conditions will apply to everything, especially medical stocks. But we got a quick example here, okay? We'll look at our quick examples on our top gainers for like the last, I don't know, let's look at the last 5 days. We only got 1 month off. Let's look at the last 5 days, okay? So those last 5 day traders, and we're looking at last 5 days. We can hone in on a lot of information in between from people who like the longer term and people who going for the lifetime investment and stuff like that, and people who just going for the swings for a couple days. And we can hone in from there on the people for the day trading time frames to identify different rounds of bullishness and or bearishness on your different time frames, okay? And we'll start this off on your minutes. We'll start this off on your minutes. Usually we start off on the monthly. So check this out on your minute charts for those for y'all 1 minute chart traders and day traders who just don't care about anything else. Okay. So you can notice when you got a bullish trend coming in, if that thing is at the bottom on your oversold and you're looking for bullish divergence, if you recall the previous videos, then you already recognize all of that. If you recall the previous videos, then you should already here recognize overbought and whatnot. Now we notice here we're identifying this on a 1 minute chart trading time frame. Notice how it's so bullish until it becomes massively overbought. Then you can identify where your next rounds of bearishness will come in again rounds. Because may I remind, these things come in for a rounds of bullishness and a rounds of bearish. Not only these stocks, we talking about cryptos, we talking about markets, we talking about ETFs. If it's a chart on that thing, even my YouTube channel, for example, you know how my YouTube channel flow. It's either going to the top or going to the bottom, and the time for the uptrend is while things are down at the top. I mean, down at the bottom. When it's down at the bottom, it's time to buy. And here we're still looking at a 1 minute chart trading time frame on a different stock. This is LAES. We're looking at a different stock now, so you understand different fundamentals. Because if you look at LAES, for those of you who don't know what this is another one of those semiconductors. Okay, and if y'all recall all the semiconductors and Nvidias and Intels and AMDs and stuff like that, the big massive things that are up hundreds, hundreds of dollars. Lay's is one that's down here towards just $1 right now. So within Lay's, since it's such a hot stock, we can see 1 minute chart traders get in and they get scared and they like in gains when it's upcoming with the next round of bearishness. Now, us swing traders, like longer swing traders going for a couple days, for example, on our 4 hour charts, you can see the uptrend that came in for a couple days on LAES. Longer swing traders do not at all care what's going on those minute charts. Not those 1 minutes out, not those 1 minutes at least, because we're going in for a longer swing over the course of a couple days. Let those 1 minute day traders and whatnot do what they do on the 1 minutes because they know what they're doing. They getting out on the 1 minutes. They not the swing traders. You still will get some longer swing traders in there. And then once longer swing traders become overbought, notice how we lock in gains and off quick rounds and whatnot. And you notice how your RSI stays overbought up here. Well, you go to a 15-minute chart for you shorter swing traders and our overnight swing traders. You can see when a thing goes down to oversold towards the after hours and gets ready for another bull run, or at least his most low and oversold position. Because sometimes you might not go all the way down oversold, which brings us into a bigger chart trading time frame, like our dailies. As you can notice here on your dailies, this is massively overbought. So those daily chart traders who follow along with the rounds of bullishness day by day by day, Now they're seeing they hone into the 4 hour chart, and I showed you how to do that if you recall last weekend videos and stuff like that. And you can see rounds of bearishness starting to get made. You can see big resistance being hit up here. That literally this 199, this $190 range. And so longer swing traders, the ones on the daily chart, they'll be looking for the next round of bearish divergence and or bearish momentum shift to be coming into the MACD. That's when those green bars are going to start turning into the shader of green bars, and you start seeing red candlesticks be formed. Now that comes down to the longer term investors because the notice how this stock has not just sold off just yet, even though it's overbought and getting ready to make bearishness. Well, now it comes down to this is a semiconductor stock, and that brings us to the type of industry, a bullish company, a company of the future. So even with the markets turning all bearish and being uncertain and whatnot the last few days, you get some stocks that are strong and powerful and got the good fundamentals and things of the future that will continue to hold up. People bet that this will go to the newer highs based off of certain fundamentals that longer term investors are using off of their weeklies and their monthlies. And here on their monthlies, longer term investors, they see big resistance being hit here. Okay. Down from the lows, nerve souls at 30, what's that, 20, 30 something cents. They see big resistance being hit up here. Exactly where, what's this, that 190? Exactly where it had his, let me zoom in some, exactly where it had his last big sell off. That first, oh yeah, that last big sell off. Now, that last big sell off lasted, we're on a monthly chart, lasted months. They lasted months. So, longer term investors, they waited for all of that bearishness to stop for bullishness to begin. Once that bullishness began, they honed in on a weekly and or a daily to spot things out, and they would then do their fundamental analysis because a lot of people in here, if you notice, started to like sell out of here. Let me show you at the beginning. A lot of people at the beginning wanted to get out of there real fast. A lot of people who held in did fundamental analyses and updates on this thing to see what they had up and coming and what they're working towards to spot out if it would be more bullish or more bearish. And then you can go see a thing that just like not a company of the future. I can show you on the top. Well, look, we got the five top gainers. I'm looking for a pharmaceutical or something. Like, and you can go to like a lot of pharmaceuticals and stuff like that that are heavily dependent on FDA approvals. Well, notice how this one comes in for more rounds of bearishness, way faster, way sooner, much more bearish, too choppy up there on the 15-minute trading chart. 15 minute chart traders and whatnot, they spot out and identify round of bearishness getting ready to come in on a specific time frame on a RSI and MACD, which makes the bearish momentum shift. Some people will still want to hold in for long term investment, but if the markets come in for more bearishness in the next trading day, then we watch even this stock start to dive down. Like I say, it's a new day and age in the markets now. Like, so now it's like there was the once upon a time where people decided to not go off of any fundamentals or anything at all. That was the big meme era back when it was all just about rallies. There wasn't no fundamentals or technicals, and a lot of stocks got didn't even survive those times and whatnot. Eventually, things did settle down, and people started getting more fundamental and more technical, proper market mannerisms and whatnot. But now we're watching things get thrown off. If you don't recall those days and ages and whatnot, then you are not then it's going to be hard to understand what I'm talking about. But if you've been in here, then you already know how this is going. Things are changing right now. We got the markets coming in for more bullishness, and things are more bullish than they ever have been before. Now, I don't know how things was back in those 1980s and all that stuff, but if you even look back at the S&P 500 over the course of time, the markets have a history of only going up and only getting more bullish. We're about to watch things push to new highs. This is very rapid right here in this last like month. It's last like 2 months. Literally, it's been like super rapid bullishness. But they saying that the S&P 500 is going to 7,000. So you're gonna get a lot of people who are going for a lot of things for the longer term, and things like Nvidia and tech and AIs will be some of those things that, despite red market conditions, drones and all that stuff, military stocks, well, despite because turning red, will continue to uptrend. If you want to get the next biggest squeeze in the world and whatnot, you might want to be looking into LAES. Everybody finna get rallying on this. They're not finna mess out on this. Semiconductor has got all the attention, not only down here towards the dollar. Don't miss this. I know a couple other stocks are finna explode next. I'll update those later on. Again, identify bullishness and bearishness, and you don't have to trade every single day. You can hold off sometimes. You know me. I recommend. I prefer to even just hold off towards the after hours. You really just hold off to the after hours, and you can get yourself in that next round of bullishness for the overnight swing almost every single time. We'll talk more about that in the next one. I'll see y'all there. And happy trading.